Nikola Jokic returns, but it sure looks like Jamal Murray is the one that's back. The Nuggets absolutely stamp out the Heat. What's the nine-man rotation look like? Plus, it's midseason. Where the Nuggets at? All that and more on Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for joining us and making this part of your day, being with us Monday through Friday, being an everydayer and hanging out with us on the daily, whether you're listening to us on podcast or joining us at youtube.com/LockedOnNuggets, where we do appreciate your like and your subscribe, your patronage, and your follow, and all the good stuff. We appreciate you guys being part of our community. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. From the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. My name is Matt Moore. I'm a senior NBA writer for the Action Network. I'm co-host of Locked On NBA Daily, which you can catch Monday through Friday. I was spitting hot fire about Jimmy Butler's nonsense today. You can catch me on Buckets on the Action Network. I just started a new show called Daggers on my own YouTube channel. I've got a Substack called Hardwood Paroxysm and another one called Denver Dig. I think that's it for now. Oh, no, and I'm on the whiteboard on Mondays on Fansided. You should also sign up for that newsletter. It's great. I do a bunch of good stuff. I'm writing something for Fansided about the Timberwolves, about how the real problem with them is not Julius Randle. It's Jaden McDaniels. I'm joined by Ryan Blackburn. He's from Mile High Sports and the Pickaxe and Roll podcast. You can catch him on Twitter at NBA Blackburn. Catch all his great work at Mile High Sports. Ryan, how's your Friday night?
That was pretty good. I think you may be the one who needs anti-inflammatories after that entire listing of stuff that you've got going on, because it clearly is working for some of us.
Adding more every day. So the Nuggets get the win tonight over the Miami Heat in just a really good game. Like this is, I'm trying to think.
Professional.
Yeah, that's a good word for it. This was. I'm on Locked On Daily. We get these clips, right? And you've been on there a bunch, actually. My guy Doug Branson really likes your stuff, and so. But one of the things is John Corrales from Locked On Celtics. He had this streak going where he would say that a game was the best win of the season, like 7 times in a row. And we were like, John, they can't all be the best win of the season. This one's up there, I think. Like, it's not okay. That's probably too far with the Thunder win, right? The Thunder win's got to be the best win.
I don't know, because that one's just so early in the season. Teams are still figuring out their identities. Was it a great win? Absolutely. Was the Mavs win that Denver had a couple of games later when Joker had that great game? And it was like a big statement at the end of 10 games. Absolutely. This one, I think, is in a different class than that for some obvious reasons, but it was the one where I felt the most comfortable about the Nuggets being a title contender.
Yeah. This game was so good, and Jamal Murray was so good that even Don't Tell Santa Cruz has saying nice things about Jamal Murray. It's a new day. It's really remarkable.
Carol bells are singing.
Nuggets get the win 133-113. They win by 20. In the win, Nikola Jokic, we'll start with him. 24 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists, 9 of 12 from the field, and 1 of 2 from 3 with a sprained elbow. Just the huge for Joker. Interestingly, though, a +6. Jamal Murray goes for 30 points, 7 boards, 8 assists, 3 steals, 12 of 24 from the field. He was only 2 of 7 from 3. So that makes him 10 of 17 from 2-point range and a +19 for Jamal Murray. Very simply, look, I feel like we've done the Jamal is back thing like a lot. I feel like we've said it 6 or 7 times. But the stretch that he's on is absolutely terrific, and it's like what Nuggets fans have been wanting to see. And look, for everyone that says this team goes as Murray goes, tonight's really good proof of that concept.
Well, you just know what you're going to get from Joker every night. I mean, we breeze right past the 24, 12, and 10 on 9 of 12 against Bam Adebayo because that's just what we've come to expect from him. When you have Jamal going for 30 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, that's a shocker. And like you saw the bench plus minuses, I think. DeAndre Jordan-Matt was a plus 15. Julian Strawther was a plus 9. Aaron Gordon off the bench, a plus 8. Peyton Watson, a plus 6. I don't think that Peyton had that great of a game, but I think all of those guys, the bench unit, and we'll talk about this in the second segment too, but that group is starting to come into focus a little bit, and Jamal playing at this level is a big reason why. They have an identity that they can go through now, and he's the guy that they can trust. He's the guy that they can put the pressure on. There are other guys that will take some pressure off of him too, but when Jamal is playing like a guy that can lead a unit, that makes all the difference. And it makes the difference when Joker coming off of an elbow sprain doesn't have to take 26 shots. He can take 12. He can stay efficient. He can be great.
Yeah, he's getting the help that everybody wanted him to get early in the season. Like he's getting it,
Yeah.
He's getting that support from the other players. And even on a night when, ultimately Michael Porter Jr. goes 4 of 13 from the field, does go 4 of 7 from 3. But like, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players besides Joker in double figures. He got the offensive help, and that goes a long way for setting him up to be in a position where he doesn't have to be that version that we've seen where he's just putting up 35 and 15 and 15 and these ridiculous numbers every night, not having to do all that. Joker played 30 minutes and 37 seconds tonight. Light work. So
3 quarters, and I think he showed his best skills. The over-the-head bounce pass that he had in transition was insane. Aaron Gordon obviously tomahawk dunks that one, and that was, I think, a big statement one. But the setup passes that Joker had in this game, slinging it out onto the perimeter, I was a little bit worried about his elbow. Matt, you know me. I'm a glass all the way empty kind of guy. I was a little bit worried about what his elbow was going to look like. It didn't look like it was bothering him in any stretch of the word, other than the fact that he had a sleeve on. That was the only noticeable difference. And not going to lie, Matt, he looks a lot cooler with the sleeve.
Russell Westbrook, 11 points, 7 assists in this one, plus 12. He shoots 3 of 4 from 3, including another corner 3-pointer.
Yeah.
There's very little to complain about with this one. Like, there's just not a lot to complain about with this one. They killed the Heat. And, I mean, look, the Heat are a 500 team coming off of a West Coast road trip with the return of the most obnoxious locker room presence in the NBA currently in Jimmy Butler. And, old Jimmy, 18 points on 7 of 15, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a minus 11. Just got in there and got the numbers. He was very quiet in that first half. Did some stuff later on. I feel confident.
Yeah.
Do what?
Can I give you a quick stat real quick?
Yeah. Hit me.
The Nuggets in the 2020s are now 14-2 against the Miami Heat. 14-2. This is a team that they own through and through.
Yeah. And what's funny is, like, I think Bam has had moments and games where he's done really well on Joker, but the last couple of times I think Joker's pretty well got him figured out as he kind of figures out everybody. So yeah, I mean, just like a really phenomenal performance. Aaron Gordon comes off the bench again, which makes things easy. 16 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 of 8 from the field, plus 8 for AG. He did the work. He filled it in. The title contender stuff is like, let's save that. We'll talk.
It's a good third segment kind of thing.
I think it's an interesting kind of question. On the other side, we'll talk some more about who else filled in. We'll talk about the 9-man rotation, including I have some questions for Ryan in terms of who's in and who's out. We'll talk about that up next here on Locked On Nuggets. With Robinhood Gold, you can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions. The privileges of the very privileged are no longer exclusive. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash and non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive your 3% boost on your annual IRA contribution, sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average saving account interest rate. Claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets, thanks for joining us. This is no jinx because we never jinx the Nuggets. Not once, not ever. So let's talk about the 9-man. Yep. We've talked about, we still don't know how they're going to sort out the starting thing. They have 6 starters, and that's complicated. All right, so Jokic, Jamal, Murray, AG, Porter, Brown, Russ, Strother, Watson.
Did you add an extra name in there? I think you did. I think because you got
hang on. I'll just run down the box score. Yeah. Brown, Porter, Jokic, Murray, Westbrook, Strother, Gordon, Watson, and you think that DeAndre's in the 9?
Yeah, I mean, that man has been awesome, Matt. He has been tremendous for Denver overall. I mentioned it plus 15 tonight, and it wasn't even anything crazy that he did, but grabbed a couple of offensive rebounds, saved some plays. There was a nice little dump-off pass that Murray had after his own miss. He got the rebound for, and then tapped it right over to Jordan, and he dunked it. That's what DJ does, and he was just like, he's able to be out there and be part of something. And I tend to think that that's something that Zeke has not been able to do. It's something that Dario's not been able to do. Just be a part of the ride, be along for the ride of something that has been solid for Denver. And for whatever reason, DJ is just able to do that because he's a pretty standard rim rolling big man who can grab rebounds and block shots. And that is a pretty understandable archetype. But I look at that 9-man group and I think, all right, I can see it. I can see the vision with it.
DJ is minus 36 raw on the season.
That's tremendous. That's really good.
So he's minus 1.2 per game.
You can live with that. Like,
this is what everyone's kind of been begging for, is just like, don't get killed. Is like, just don't get destroyed in the non-Joker minutes. You know, and tonight they were better in the non-Joker minutes than the Joker minutes, but that's obviously got a lot of context around it. And like, nobody's ever going to take a game like this and be like, Joker was bad. Like, you don't take plus minus and say that somebody was bad. You can usually, there are times when you can be like, okay, player, we didn't think that this player played bad. What kind of impact did it have on the team? Oh, by the way, they were also a minus, that kind of a thing. In terms of on-off net rating this season, they're still minus 11 in Joker's minutes on the bench. So they're minus 10.7. But with DeAndre, they're only minus 5.4. And given his minute rate, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, that difference is very important here. 10.7 when Joker doesn't play, minus 5.4. And that's like the difference here is the minus 10.7 you can't live with. The minus 5.4 you can. At least for the regular season. Yeah. And like, that's gonna be the question. It's just like, can you survive like 3 minutes with DJ? Because that is like a thing, is sometimes when the DJ minutes are bad, they're so bad. But
and the most important factor, I think, for people to remember is that there's a difference between, like you said, 82 game regular season, get through it, understand that you just don't mess it up and play the right way, things like that, versus a team that is scheming for you in the playoffs and trying to pick apart your weaknesses. That's why rotations get cut to 8 and then get cut to 7. And sometimes they get cut to 6 because sometimes you just can't survive in those minutes with those other guys. So I think that Denver, they probably still need some other guys that they could play around with for different situations and different ideas that they go to. Like they haven't been able to go to the Gordon at 5 minutes, and I hope that they don't have to during the regular season. The reason why I was so adamant that they had to do it before was because I didn't think that DJ had this in him. I didn't think the Nuggets had this in them with DJ on the floor. And I'm really glad that they do have it.
It's cool. I just like it. It's cool. It's Jordan, when DJ showed up in Denver, all the questions were like, what do you feel like you could still give to this team? And like,
that was DJ 2.5 years ago.
And DJ was like, I'm not dead. Like what? Yeah. Like he was, he was pretty mystified at the questions. And but I'll say this, like, I do think that to a certain degree, there's like an interesting kind of combo here where it's like, I think DJ playing so little was actually what he needed. That he took basically 3 years and didn't play basketball much.
Yeah.
And that's allowed him to where when the Nuggets are like, hey, we need you to actually like play like
every single person to a man was like, yeah, DJ's in great shape. He came back this summer in great shape. And I tend to think that is a lot easier when you don't play a full season of basketball for a team prior to that. And so shout out to him. Like he has been awesome. He's always great to talk to. He's the most important locker room veteran the Nuggets have had clearly since Paul Millsap. And maybe even beyond that. Like I really like what he has provided. Can I talk to you about Strawther really quick and some of the other stuff with the 9-man?
Hit me.
I thought that Julian was fantastic tonight.
Yeah, he was. I thought he was too.
I thought that there were times where he was picked on because the guy was bigger than him. Times where like really skilled players went at him and they won. But it did not deter him from competing. And in the second half, I thought he gave some great effort and on team plays and was able to impact the team defense in a very positive way. And then he also hit the threes. And against the Heat, especially a team that goes zone, they didn't get to go zone tonight as much because they can't against Denver. But he was able to space in such an important way for Denver. It is so valuable, the minutes that he is getting right now. I don't know if he's going to be on the team long term. I don't know if he's going to be a playoff rotation guy, but I do know that he's making progress. The difference between him at the beginning of the season versus where he is mid-season, I think is very tangible.
My thing with Julian is just I really do feel like he's got the skill set and the want to become a good NBA player. It's just going to take some time. Like he's a guy that he just is going to need the reps and he's just going to need the time. And the thing with him though, is he's a guy that he can give you like, if he comes in and he plays 10 minutes in a playoff game in a game 3, he can knock down 3 floaters and 2 threes in this short span and have the opponent's fans be like, who's this guy?
Exactly.
Why are we getting killed by this guy?
Leonard.
Yeah, like that's what you need is you need guys that can actually do that, and I think he's really capable of that. I do have a funny number for you though.
Sure.
So I was looking at those raw numbers for the on court stuff, right? The plus minus.
Sure.
Who would you bet leads the Nuggets in personal fouls?
Either Jokic or Christian Brown.
It's Russ.
Oh, actually, no, that's fair. That's fair.
Second is Julian Strawther.
That's insane.
so get this. Christian has played 417 more minutes than Julian and has 8 fewer fouls.
Yeah. I mean,
no, I love it though, because it's just like, but this is also, this to me is telling though. It's like, hey, you got to defend without fouling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that means that you are defending. You're not like, I don't want to get fouls because I'll get taken off, or it's hard, or I don't want to make contact. Like he's
100%.
He's fouling because the effort is there, and I think that matters.
I think like the difference between what he's going to be now and what he's going to be 2 years from now, the same is true for Christian, for Peyton. Somebody came at me online today for saying, oh, why like Peyton needs to add 15 pounds of muscle. And he's like, why this isn't 2K, Ryan? You can't just give guys muscle like that. Like, come on, man. This is just a 2 years down the line kind of thing. All of those guys will add 15 pounds of muscle, and they will be like, there will be grown man strength, and they will not be bumped off of their spots as often as they are. All three of those guys. I think that Denver's in a good place with their young trio. It's just whether they can wait enough time for them to develop.
I will say Peyton did give a great shoulder in transition that bumped the guy off of him from the behind the back pass to Joker. That was like my favorite play from Watson this season.
Yeah.
That sequence was amazing. That was great.
I mean, there's plenty to him. I still think that there's some stuff that is preventing him from taking that next step. But I honestly think that 15 pounds of muscle will help that. I really do. I think just getting in the weight room and getting big and strong and using that athleticism as much as possible, I think that's his key to unlocking this. I really do.
So much of this, though, is like, it's not even about really getting in the weight room. It's just like your body filling out as you get older.
And
that's not part of it, too.
True.
So.
True.
Up next, we'll talk about some midseason thoughts. Where are the Nuggets at in terms of being a contender? It's a tricky question. We're going to talk about it next here on Locked On Nuggets. You know, when I found out Skims was making underwear for men, I was intrigued. I've heard so much about their quality from friends and family, so I had to give it a try. Let me tell you, lives up to the hype. I've always had issues with underwear, fit, comfort, or just finding the right style for me. Skims changed all that. Their men's line offers something for everyone, from boxer briefs to classic briefs, all designed with the perfect balance of comfort and style. I tried the Skims boxer brief and I'm hooked. These are the perfect for my active lifestyle to move with me, never lose their shape, and stay in place all day. Whether I'm working out or just running errands, they're the most comfortable and reliable underwear I've ever owned. Plus, the lightweight material feels amazing, almost like you're wearing nothing at all. Shop SKIMS Mens at skims.com/LockedOnNBA and Skims stores. Let them know we sent you. After you place your order, just select podcast in the survey and select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. That's skims.com/LockedOnNBA. We're also brought to you today by FanDuel. From the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. I don't know. It might be confusing. The playoffs keep going for some teams, and they get to play for
others. It could be tough.
This big trophy. I know it's been a minute. You guys have some. It's a long time ago, but you have some. Yeah. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win your first bet. That's $300 to keep the action going. The FanDuel app's easy to navigate. You can do things like you can parlay Nuggets to make the playoffs with one of the teams in the West that you dislike to miss the playoffs. You can do those kind of things. There's all sorts of great bets you can get it on. You can get it on Joker rebounds, all sorts of stuff. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today and get started with $300 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this NFL season, playoff season, unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets. Thanks for joining us and making this part of your day. Appreciate you guys being with us here on a Saturday. If you're in Colorado and you're dealing with a winter storm, make sure to stay safe. It is. How bad is it there, Ryan?
It was coming down a little bit. It's starting. It will continue. I don't believe I'm going to be leaving the house that often. That's for sure.
And here with NoCo, we're getting hammered.
Yeah.
Like it's, and my daughter is thrilled. My daughter has been so pissed that it has snowed and not been enough for her to go sledding. She's been like, this is stupid. It's snow, but you can't do anything with it. This is stupid. And so she's very excited that there's actual snow. And then we have to tell her like, okay, yeah, but like the weather's really going to be so cold that you can get frostbite. So you can't really be outside much, but you know.
I'm excited for you to be stuck inside and just getting hell from CJ Stroud. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome.
You don't believe that?
I actually don't, but I really do. I just want it so bad.
You can hope. You can hope. See, but the problem is
getting away with it.
See, here's the problem though, is like I'm untouchable because it's like, well, you know, winning 3 in a row is hard. Oh well.
Yeah. Shucks.
That's the problem with where last year was the one really to make me the worst human imaginable. All right. So let's talk about some midseason thoughts and kind of where this team is at. So, you know, they've kind of snuck up on me because of some of the injury stuff and everything. And I'm still kind of like over indexed on things like the loss to the Spurs getting waxed by the
The
Cavaliers.
loss last year to the Spurs?
No.
Which lost them?
The 113-110 loss on January 3rd.
I thought that was pretty standard, pretty normal. They didn't have their best Victor Wembanyama defender.
Right, but I'm just saying that, like, they get waxed by the Cavs and get both games.
Yeah.
They lose to the Suns, right, on Christmas.
Yeah.
They lose to Boston, but Jokic didn't play. Lose to the Rockets. Jokic didn't play. So it's like, other than that, they've been on this like really great streak, so they're killing it. Do you see a championship team with this squad right now?
Not yet. I do think that they are working their way towards that. And it's a point that you made at the beginning of the season that this was going to be a long road, that there were going to be ups and downs, and it was all about the upward trend. And I think they're trending. I think they are in a good place where they're now at that point where they have to start logging those signature wins. Like they've stabilized themselves. They've put themselves into a position where they're in the top 4 in the West. They're going to have to keep ahead of that. But I do think that they've got some pretty tough games coming up too. So there will be some opportunities for them to do that. But I do think that with Denver at full strength, with other teams at relatively full strength, I want to see Denver compete with the top. I want to see them play their best basketball when the game is tough. And they don't have to win all of those games, but they haven't won enough of them. To your point, the Cavs losses, ones without Jokic, there were some earlier ones too. I think that they still have some stuff to prove, of course, but are there other teams outside of OKC in the West that they can really prove themselves against?
See, I think that's my thing is I actually don't think they need the signature wins. Like I'm less concerned about that. And here's actually like a kind of an interesting element. They're 13-9 versus teams that were 500 or better at the time of the matchup. On the season, those teams, they're 16-12 against versus teams that are over 500 right now.
It's all right.
That's good, actually,
Yeah,
Ryan. So
good.
The Grizzlies are 13-12. They're 16-12. The Rockets are 16-10. The Nuggets are 16-12. The teams all below them. The Nuggets are also here's kind of like how the West shapes up right now. There's OKC. There's a huge, huge gap. There's a universe. There's like a very large universe
crap
in between.
Yeah.
There's the Rockets, the Grizzlies, and the Mavericks fully healthy. And I think you got to start, I think you got to put Denver in that group now. Where,
it would be tough to not have them in there.
Yeah, and I would just say, for me, that's a big difference because I think even 2 to 3 weeks ago, around the start of the month, I was in no. There's the Thunder, there's a gap, and then there's Rockets, Grizzlies, Mavs.
Yeah.
And then there's another level, and that's where Denver is. And I really am okay, no, if they face the Rockets in a playoff series, and I have no idea how to get an idea of I need to do a lot. I have to watch 20 Rockets games over the next couple of weeks just to get a really good feel for them, because I keep being I know who the Rockets are, but I don't really capture how good they are. There's a dissonance between how good I have a perception of and what the numbers, the data, the record says to me.
Yeah.
And so I have to do that disconnect. Memphis, I know really well. I feel like I have a really good sense of Memphis. Memphis is probably a little underrated, but they're very, 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 very good. Dallas full strength is very, 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 very good. But Denver, I think, is in that conversation, and they've got more experience and they've got the better player. And so there's not a situation where I would be oh God, they have to face blah, blah, blah. Instead, it's one of those, you're trapped in here with me deals where it's hey, congratulations, Rockets. You made the playoffs and you got the 4 seed. You have to face the Nuggets as the 5 seed first round. Best of luck to you.
Yeah, good luck.
Right?
No, I think that's very fair. I think that Denver has now, they've put themselves into that tier 2. Tier 2 is, I think, where they are. I think tier 2 is where they are going to stay. I don't see a way that they get up to tier 1. I think that with where OKC is at, with where Cleveland and Boston are playing on a consistent basis, and I guess not Boston really, but more so Cleveland, I think that those teams are a little bit separate. And that's something that Denver's going to have to climb to, that they're going to have to get to. But those teams just continue to kill most teams when they're on.
If you're Dallas, you want to be in the Thunder's bracket.
Mm-hmm.
As good as they are, you're like, we match up with them. We beat them last year. We can do this. And we can be the one to capture them and then have that momentum. They'd rather be in OKC's bracket. Do you want to be in OKC's bracket?
No. I've already talked about this online too. I think that Denver should be doing the best thing possible for them to get to the Western Conference Finals and then see if Dallas can take out OKC. That would be my goal. I think that Denver should be trying to advance as far as possible. And then if you get to a Western Conference Finals, then you've got Jokic in the Western Conference Finals. And that is just, I think, a different beast of a player. And because the players can taste it at that point, like they can sense it at that point. So I think that that's what I would be impressed with. But I just don't think that Denver is at OKC's level. I think they can beat OKC because of Jokic. But when you start asking me about Murray and whether he can rise to that level against that team with those perimeter defenders, and just like think about Minnesota, folks, like last year and double it in terms of the amount of perimeter defenders, elite perimeter defenders that they have. That is what I'm worried about. So it's one of the reasons also why I think that having another perimeter creator kind of makes some sense.
Oh, I was just going to ask you that. If this run by the Nuggets has moved you off of wanting to make a trade or not.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I look at what OKC has done to great guards like Donovan Mitchell and think, wow, 3 for 15 for Donovan Mitchell, huh? 3 for 16 for Donovan Mitchell, huh? In a week's worth of time. That's with Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen all surrounding him in both of those games. That is tough. Like that's them saying, hey, we're going to take you out. And could they do the same to Murray? Yeah, probably, if they could take out Mitchell. So I think that having a second guy that can really create and score off the dribble would really help. Now, Russ has done some good things, and I think that he has gone far and above my expectations. But I do think that MPJ is where I look at and think, if I have him dribbling against OKC on a consistent basis, I'm a little bit worried.
I looked at two-man combinations with 500 minutes played this season.
Mm-hmm.
And there are 293 of them. The top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are all OKC. Number 6 is Nikola Jokic and Michael Porter Jr.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, look, but you're not, because like that's a regular season thing versus a playoff thing, right? And so here's like the question is, but here's why I will definitely tell you. No, I'm going to go further. Here's why I feel you're wrong. And it's definitely just an opinion thing. You can't go too far game planning for the boogeyman, because then the other monster under the bed gets you. You can't go so far as to be like, we got to get another creator because of OKC. Because if you never face OKC, it doesn't matter. It doesn't help you at all. You just got to build the roster with the most options, with the best weapons, with the best combinations. And honestly, this is one of the things with the Russ development that might be the best thing about it, Ryan. If they need to, for long stretches of the game, go to Murray, Russ, Christian, AG, Yoke, they can do that. And OKC's offense is not good enough to be like, we can't stay on the floor with that. You can hang on the floor with that. So that might be like where that gets to, but we'll see how it goes. That's going to do it for Locked On Nuggets. We'll see you guys on Sunday night for No Jinx. Have yourselves a great weekend. If you're in the greater Colorado area, stay safe, stay warm. Turn on your faucets at night. A little bit of a drip. Okay, open up those cabinets. Take care of the pets. We'll see you guys again on Sunday night for No Jinx. Thanks for joining us on Locked On Nuggets. Good job, Ryan.